For years, military analysts have talked in hypotheticals about the next great revolution in air combat. We've seen CGI concepts and read doctrinal papers about a future where manned and unmanned aircraft fight side by side. On November 11th, 2025, to mark the 76th anniversary of its Air Force, China stopped talking about the future. They showed it to us. This is not a random collection of aircraft on parade. What you are looking at is a single integrated weapon system, a lethal ecosystem. In the lead, the Gongji-11 Xuanlong. For the first time in public, it's a stealthy, unmanned combat drone, the tip of the spear. To its side, the J-20S Mighty Dragon stealth fighter, the command and control brain, and the J-16D, a specialized electronic attack jet, the electronic shield flying with them. This is far more than just propaganda. This footage is a profound statement of intent, and more importantly, a demonstration of capability. It signals that China is moving beyond theory and is actively operationalizing a sixth-generation warfighting concept with its most advanced fifth-generation platforms. Today, we're going to conduct a deep-dive analysis into this new wolfpack. We'll dissect the roles of each aircraft, explore the revolutionary doctrine of how they fight together, and place this development in the context of the global race for the future of air dominance. What we are seeing here could fundamentally alter the strategic calculus in the Indo-Pacific. To understand the power of this formation, you have to understand the specialized role each component plays. This is a team designed for synergy, where the whole is far greater than the sum of its parts. First, the tip of the spear, the Gongji-11 Xuanlong. This is a UKV, an unmanned combat air vehicle. Its design immediately tells you its purpose: stealth. The flying wing shape with no tail or vertical stabilizers is optimized for maximum low observability, similar in concept to the American B-2 Spirit bomber or the developmental X-47B. Its role is to be the high-risk, deep-penetration asset. It flies into the most heavily defended enemy airspace, the places where you wouldn't want to risk a human pilot. It is the silent scout, the first strike weapon, and to a degree, expendable. Next, the electronic shield, the J-16D. This is a derivative of the formidable J-16 fighter, but with a singular, vital mission: electronic warfare. Think of the J-16D as the unit that blinds and deafens the enemy before the strike. Its wingtips and fuselage are covered in advanced antennas and electronic intelligence pods. Its primary job is to detect, jam, and disrupt enemy radar systems and communication networks. It also carries a deadly payload of anti-radiation missiles, weapons specifically designed to home in on and destroy the enemy's ground-based air defense radar sites. In U.S. Navy terms, this is China's answer to the EA-18G Growler, an absolutely essential enabler for any modern air campaign. Finally, the brain of the operation, the J-20 Mighty Dragon, specifically the two-seat J-20S variant. The J-20 is a world-class fifth-generation air superiority fighter, designed to compete with the F-22 Raptor. But in this formation, its role transcends that of a mere fighter. It is the airborne command post, the quarterback of the entire mission. The development of the J-20S, the world's first two-seat stealth fighter to enter service, was a massive clue to this strategy. That second seat isn't for a trainee, it's for a mission commander or a dedicated drone control officer. From that rear cockpit, this officer can manage and direct a swarm of unmanned assets, turning the J-20 from a lone wolf into the alpha of a robotic pack. So, how does this team actually fight? Let's walk through a hypothetical strike mission. Phase 1. Electronic suppression. As the strike package approaches contested airspace, the J-16D, hanging back at a safe distance, begins its work. It activates its powerful jamming pods, creating a wall of electronic noise to confuse and blind enemy early warning radars. It simultaneously detects the emissions from enemy surface-to-air missile sites, launching its anti-radiation missiles to tear holes in their air defense network. Phase 2. Silent penetration. Under the cover of this electronic screen, the Gongji-11 push forward. Flying autonomously or under high-level direction, they use their superior stealth to slip past the remaining defenses deep into enemy territory. They are now the forward eyes of the entire formation, using their own sensors to identify high-value targets, air bases, command centers, enemy ships, without emitting a single signal that would give away their position. Phase 3. Coordinated command and control. Further back, outside the most dangerous threat rings, the J-20S pilots are seeing what the drones see. The drone control officer in the rear seat is managing the Gong-G11, assigning them search sectors and validating the targets they find. The J-20's powerful computers are fusing the data from its own radar, the J-16D's sensors, and the forward-deployed Gong-G11 into a single, unified picture of the battlespace. Phase 4. The kill chain. This is where the doctrine becomes truly revolutionary. The J-20 commander can now engage targets in multiple ways. He can order the Gong-G11s to strike with their own internal weapons, or he can use the Gong-G11 as a remote sensor. A target might be detected by a Gong-G11, but the J-20, using that targeting data, launches one of its own very long-range missiles. The missile flies most of the way under the J-20's guidance, only to receive its final update from the drone that is loitering silently near the target. This allows the manned pilot to stay hundreds of kilometers away from the fight, completely safe, while still prosecuting the attack. The drone becomes a disposable, remote extension of the fighter's own will. This is the core concept of manned-unmanned teaming. China's demonstration is not happening in a vacuum. The development of loyal wingman or collaborative combat aircraft is the centerpiece of virtually every sixth-generation fighter program around the world. In the United States, the Air Force's next-generation air dominance program is built around a manned penetrating fighter commanding a fleet of CCAs. We've seen concepts like the Boeing MQ-28 Ghost Bat, originally developed for Australia, being tested as a potential platform. The goal is to create an affordable, a treatable mass, a swarm of drones to augment the expensive manned fighter. In Russia, the Sukhoi S-70 Okhotnik is a large, heavy UCAV designed to operate alongside the Su-57 fighter. Like the Gong-G11, it is a stealthy flying wing, but its development has appeared to be much slower and more troubled. The key difference here is one of timing and execution. While the U.S. is still deep in the developmental and conceptual phase of its CCA program, China is publicly showing its assets flying together and has already fielded the J-20S, a dedicated platform to control them. They are pioneering the operational concepts of the 2030s with the hardware of the 2020s, giving them a critical head start in developing the tactics, training, and software required to make this complex vision a reality. There is another critical and often overlooked aspect to China's approach, born from its unique geography and strategic aims. The U.S. Air Force has the luxury of a global network of bases. China does not. Its military doctrine is focused on projecting power across the enormous distances of the Western Pacific. To do this, they have built their aircraft for range. The J-20, for example, has an estimated combat radius of over 2,000 kilometers, more than double that of its American rivals, like the F-35. China's two sixth-generation fighter prototypes, which are already flying, are expected to have ranges that are even greater. This creates a unique engineering challenge. A wingman has to be able to keep up with its leader. Therefore, China's unmanned fighters cannot be small, short-range drones. They must also be large, long-range, high-performance aircraft. This means the Gong-G11 and its successors will likely be larger, more complex, and more expensive than many of the attreatable concepts being explored by the U.S. They will be less like disposable missile trucks and more like unmanned junior partners, capable of keeping pace with the manned fighter on deep penetration missions thousands of kilometers from home. This suggests a Chinese focus on quality and capability over sheer quantity in their unmanned fleet. So what is the final verdict on this anniversary flypast? It is without a doubt one of the most significant military developments of the year. This footage is not just for a parade. It is a clear and unambiguous signal to the world, and specifically to the United States, that China's military technological revolution is accelerating. They have shown us the key components of a next-generation air combat system, a system that integrates stealth, electronic warfare, and unmanned platforms into a cohesive and lethal whole. They have demonstrated that they are not just copying Western ideas, but are actively developing and fielding them, in some cases even ahead of schedule. The era of the solo fighter pilot, the lone ace in the sky, is definitively over. The future of air dominance will be won not by the best aircraft, but by the best network. It will be a complex, high-speed chess match played by human minds and executed by robotic platforms. With this single-formation flight, China has not just marked an anniversary. It has shown the world its powerful opening move in this new, complex, and high-stakes game.